Hello and welcome back to Mindful Living. My Pothos has really been thriving over the past couple of months, so in today's video I'm going to share with you guys some high-yield tips that have worked for me and that you can also use to care for your Pothos and for your other houseplants, as a matter of fact, to get them looking bigger, happier, and healthier. So stay tuned. Pothos are very popular houseplants and are relatively easy to care for. A lot of people begin their plant collections with pothos. They can grow quickly, but this really depends on the growing conditions. So let's get right into what you can do to get your pothos growing healthy and voluminous. So it's a no-brainer that all plants need light for growth. Pothos are generally known to be plants that can tolerate low light. If you place your plant in a dark corner, it will be just fine. But just because they can survive in a low light setting doesn't mean that that's what's best for them. I've found that putting my plant in indirect medium to bright light has made a huge difference. This is what my pothos looked like in September of 2021, and this is what it looks like in April of 2022. A lot of people can get away with never fertilizing their pothos, and the plant will be okay, it will be just fine, it will grow. But if you really want to support the plant's growth, fertilizer can make a huge difference in how fast it grows and how big the leaves get, especially in the growing season. I noticed that the leaves on my pothos were getting really tiny, and I realized that it was likely due to fertilizer because I wasn't fertilizing it. Once I started fertilizing it, the next leaf that came out was so much bigger and healthier looking. I mean, look at the difference here. It's as bright as day. The kind of fertilizer that you use is really up to you. The one that I use is from Miracle-Gro, and I use it for both my indoor and outdoor plants. And I like this fertilizer because there's so much. I mean, I don't remember how much I spent on it, but it wasn't that much. And it comes with so much fertilizer, so this is definitely going to last me a very long time. And this is an old Hawaiian punch bottle that happens to be a gallon, so I use it to measure. The fertilizer came with the measuring spoon, which is super helpful. What's funny is that once you add the water, the color of the fertilizer mix is almost the same as that of blue Hawaiian punch, so I should probably label this bottle properly. Now let's talk about watering. For pothos, it's really important to let your plant dry out in between watering. Let me repeat that. Do not overwater. The good thing is that pothos is a plant that will communicate when it needs water, so the leaves will look a bit droopy. I tend to water mine every 2 weeks or so, but there are things that you can do to check how hydrated the soil is. One thing is you can actually touch the top layer of the soil and see if it's moist. You can also stick your finger into the soil to see if the top layer is dry. Another less conventional method that I use is I use a skewer. So I'll just stick the skewer into the soil, but you have to be careful to make sure that you're not sticking the roots. I usually do this for plants with deeper pots where it's harder to gauge if the deeper layers are still moist. And I leave the skewer in for a few minutes while I water my other plants. As you can see, this plant needs watering since only the very tip of the skewer is wet and has soil sticking to it. I tend to stick mostly to observing the leaves and checking the soil with my fingers for moisture, but occasionally I'll use the skewers. And now on to actually watering the plants. I have to say, I find the process of going around and watering my plants to be very therapeutic. It's probably my favorite part of caring for plants, and it's a part of caring for myself. So in the spirit of doing the most, I decided to buy a new watering can that brought me so much joy, and we are all about sparking joy. Sometimes I try to water my plants from the bottom, but I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of work and I just don't have the time, and I have 30 something plants, so I just stick to top watering, and I just try my very best to avoid getting water on the leaves, and oops, we got a drop here, but I'm sure the plant will be fine. Soil is another important consideration for having healthy plants. You want to make sure that you have a soil that is well draining. The soil that I use is also from Miracle Grow, not sponsored. Now, I'll admit that I'm not an expert on preparing my own soil, so I just stick to the one that I can buy in the store. Comment below if you have any suggestions for any homemade soil recipes that I can use, because I try to keep it simple. So as you guys saw, this plant has grown so much and it's now touching the floor. It's kind of getting in the way, so I'll have to cut it back soon. Cutting it back or pruning it can actually be quite beneficial for the plant by not only improving aesthetics, but by also encouraging new growth. Last year, I cut the stem and it pushed out all this new growth. You can actually use the cuttings to make new plants, or you can also use them for decorations. They also make great gifts for sharing with friends and fellow plant lovers. As we all know, pests can be really annoying, and thankfully I haven't had much of an issue with them. And I think a really big part of why I haven't had an issue with them is because I do preventative pest management using neem oil. I made a whole video about cleaning my plant leaves with neem oil, which I'll link below. The recipe that I use is 1 teaspoon of neem oil with half a teaspoon of dish soap mixed in with 1 liter of tap water. I couldn't actually find a 1 liter bottle, so I'm using this 750 milliliter wine bottle. I think that should be close enough. I'll probably just dilute it a bit before spraying it onto my leaves. Wiping down your plant leaves with this solution at least once per month can be really beneficial for your plants. It will definitely help to ward off those pesky pests, but your plants will also love you for doing this, and they'll look so bright and shiny. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope these simple tips will help you in getting your pothos to be bigger, healthier, and more luscious. Please give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe if you know that you like this kind of content. So, see you guys next time.